Friday morning. It's not crunchy time.
It's Friday morning rants and bants with Rudi Lickwood and the crew, Aston Matsapha Jones,
Julie Juice, Coach Astrid, and Lescha Marshall-Witter.
Early morning conversation with a special guest each week.
Join us.
Bring your tea, your coffee,
and let us fill you up
at 8:15 a.m. to 9:15 a.m.
Friday mornings.
See you there.
Live with me, Rudi Lickwood, and the RANTS and the BANTS crew.
Whoa, good morning. Morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us. Hey, look at your face, man. Oh my God.
It was just
try going into cam and mic, I was gonna say
green screening and
and change the resolution. Show advanced. There you go. And try to show advanced as well. Drop back again. Anyway, once again, I was going to say good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's been 3 weeks since we've been away. I know. And it's been quite a while, hasn't it? It's been quite a while. All I can say is, if we've got anybody who is watching in Facebook, please do subscribe. Please do like the page. It's very important that you do that. All right, we're going to be here each and every Friday morning from 8:15 a.m. to have a chat with you. Okay, so please welcome Miss Lescha Marshall-Witter in the middle there. How you doing, girl?
Morning.
Julie Juice, as I like to call her, Juicy Julie.
Good morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Aston.
Yeah,
Aston.
just do it. Back to
Mr. Aston. And down the bottom there, we've got Miss Coach Astrid. How you doing, Coach?
Hi.
I've got to say good morning to Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, all the way in Newport.
Oh, morning, Carl.
How you doing, Carl? You good, bro?
There you go.
Good morning, Carl.
Here we are. It's all moving now.
It's all starting to happen, isn't it? Yeah. I know. Slowly but surely. Claire, look at that. Morning, all. Happy Friday, and welcome back. Welcome back. We look like a bunch of bruised bananas this morning, don't we?
Bunch of bruised bananas.
We look like a bunch of bruised bananas. What can I say? It's I thought I'd change up the whole look. Give us more of a morning feel.
Yeah, sunshine. Yeah.
It's more like boy. That's why.
End of the week.
Give us a jump up look.
Yeah, because I was thinking to myself, well, people are going to get up in the morning, and I was thinking it's going to be summertime pretty soon.
We're midsummer now. We're midsummer now. What are you talking about? Summertime.
We're not midsummer yet.
It's spring.
It's still spring.
You watch it.
Oh my goodness.
The longest day is upon us. The longest day is upon
June,
us.
not until June.
June. 20th or 21st, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's when we can go out and be.
You miserable. You can't even just take it. Just
No.
take it.
No.
It's a few days after my birthday, actually.
Yeah, but you know that June the 21st.
Hold on. Drop that one in.
Yeah.
And it's a Friday.
What? The old birthday.
The birthday.
And it's
not
a Friday.
Old. Not old.
The birthday. The birthday.
It's the birthday, not the old.
Well,
I'm still not the oldest in amongst my peers here.
Oh, no. You have a long way to catch me up. I'm well ahead of the race.
I actually don't, but I'm not going to go into that one. I actually don't have a long way, but we'll leave that one. I'm still 21. I know you're 24-ish, 23, 24. Yeah.
I'm 12.
Well, that means that means I must be 12.
That's what I said. I'm 12. Yeah.
Well, whatever age Aston is, you're months behind. So we're good with that.
Months? Just a couple of months behind.
No. I'm a good 62 vintage. So yeah, all right.
Oh, you're all Brock for true, Lord.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Not wrong. There's nothing wrong. You know, when they call it
so
a fine.
62 the year and not the age.
The year.
Ah, that's all right. It's not old.
Fine. You're fine.
Yeah, so you'll be 75 next year.
That is fine wine, isn't it? That's what you call fine wine.
Well, let me say that a wine a lot as well, you know. Not as good as I used to.
Just gonna say, is that whinging and not dancing?
Well, that's what we are talking about. It's very hard to get hold of White Horse Lilliment now. So, you know.
White Horse Lilliment. Right, look where him gone. White Horse Lilliment. Look where him gone.
Wow.
Very good for the knees.
Rudy, how have you been? How have you been there?
I have been head down, really, to be honest with you. It's been.
You might want to rephrase that.
Why? Why? please do elaborate.
I'm just going to leave it up to everyone's imagination, but I know where my mind went.
Well.
Kind of helping you out the gutter there.
Is it?
Thanks, Carl, about young people. You need to stop that.
Well, the one good thing that I can say is I weren't getting up bright and early as I was before. I mean, 3 weeks of being able to get up after 9 o'clock was wonderful. For me, it was actually wonderful. Because normally I'd get up around, I don't know, maybe about 7, 6 sometimes. But to know that I didn't have to, it made a big change. And I managed to get myself into the gym.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yay.
Well done.
How many times have you watched?
Once.
How long? Did you just go to register? Did you
I actually went to find out exactly how much money they were taking out of my account for me not using it. You know what I mean? And then, but they actually reimbursed everyone. They actually reimbursed everybody.
Yeah.
That's good.
And as opposed to before, they had like certain times that you could come in. Now you could just go in any time. I think, but you know, I think they're going to pull back on that a bit later on. They just want everybody back in.
Yeah. The thing is that like the gym that I'm with is pretty. It's one of the, I say, middle range pricing, and because you've got these other gyms that you can get for like £20-30 a month, and if you go in there and you know what you're doing and you get your workout, you could just use the equipment and get just the same satisfaction as what you would get from any other gym. You know?
Okay.
So you're just, in other words, if you're paying for that bit more, you're paying for luxuries in that way there, you know? So, yeah.
So you're paying for luxuries then?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You can tell
Wear the badge. Yeah, own it.
Yeah, well, no. Listen, let me tell you something, right? Life is the quality that you have, right? So basically, just like what you demand out of life, you have to pay sometimes for that, you know?
Yes.
So you know, I hold both my hands up, and I will say I enjoy my life and I enjoy nice things. That's it.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though.
No.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think live within your means. Regardless of whether
absolutely,
some people, will be able to afford a certain brand, for example, and they will be content with that. Whereas somebody will be looking to aspire to buy a bigger brand that's more expensive, and they'll be happy with that. And then there's somebody who has to go to Primark because that's their budget. So it's not really, what you wear or where you get it from. It's really about the person and how it makes you feel as an individual.
Exactly. And that's all it is. It's just a personal thing.
Yeah. And I say to people, sometimes, sorry to interrupt, they say people, I've got my special clothes, or I've got my special perfume, or my special makeup, or my special this. I'm special every day.
Every day
I'm special. Every day is Mother's Day. Every day is Black History Day. Every day I'm special.
I'll tell you how special every day is. When my daughter was 11, she used to wear my Chanel perfume to school. and one day she came in and said, "Mum, your perfume's run out." And I'm thinking, what's she talking about? Because I was probably wearing, I don't know, some Ralph Lauren everyday perfume. And I'm like, "No, it hasn't, Bab." She goes, "You know that pretty?" I'm like, "The one that I pay like £70." My child was wearing it to school.
That was me.
At 11.
Yep, 11 years old, I was wearing Coco Chanel. to school.
Oh my gosh.
£150 a bottle.
my
Yeah,
God.
let's just say we knew some people, but yeah, I had to find a way to make that more affordable and in my budget because I just love
Yeah,
it.
everybody else was wearing Impulse.
In it, or what's the other one called?
Old Spice.
Charlie. It was Charlie.
Old Spice.
Charlie,
Old
no, I'm
Spice,
just-
yeah.
Charlie was our day, not my child's day. Yeah, she doesn't understand the concept of Charlie.
Yeah.
Tweed. Taking you right back.
Tweed.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, you remember Tweed?
You
Wow.
know what? Do you know what it smells like though? It smells like Alien.
What, Tweed?
So if you want the upgrade, if you like, if you think that you can't find Tweed, sorry, I'm a perfume consultant. So if you can't find Tweed on the shelf, Alien smells about 90-95% similar.
What about those ones that you can mix? You can mix now, and you can get the same aroma from them. They come in the like you go to these booths, and they've got the various types of perfumes around. Have you ever tried any of those?
Yeah, the company that I kind of get my perfumes from, they're all so let me just explain. Nobody owns the liquid. So the big brands, they own the bottle and the packaging, not the liquid.
That's
so
right.
anybody can actually go to the perfumery, buy a
Yeah.
range of perfumes and bottle them themselves and call it what they want.
Yeah.
This particular company that I'm with, they have found similar fragrance notes to the designer brands, and they've just given them numbers rather than names.
Yeah.
So it's just no fancy bottle.
I've tried it once. And it was I found that it was very, very similar to what I liked, and because the cologne the cologne that I like, I'm talking with women, that's why. The cologne that I like, right? It's no.
There he goes with the
in stock.
comment. Go on then.
Right, so there. Hold on, let me finish first before you turn me down. Right, so I approached them and I said, well, there is one, but I don't think you do it. It's called Aramis 900, right? And I'm going to tell you, when they put it together, I bought two.
Yeah.
Right? So,
there you go. So
if you said you bought 20, I would have ran and bought some as well. But you said two. It's one more than standard. I'm just coming for you, Aston, today. Yeah.
I know you are. Don't worry.
3 weeks of
Oh
energy.
Lord, yeah. Avon,
isn't it? I know.
And timeless Liz, that's the one.
Timeless. Oh, okay.
Bring back some memories in the chat, boy. Thank you.
Yeah, but like my old faithfuls are Curious, and like I love my Aramis 900 as well. So
they're not that old, are they? Really? I think when you're talking proper old, you need to be talking about Black Suede, Old Spice, and Brute 33.
But we mentioned Old Spice earlier on.
Oh, did we? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we're talking about fragrances, I know there's a gentleman who's here to see us, and I'm sure he wears different fragrances every morning. Our guest this morning is Dean Okai. He'll most probably correct me on the Okai. And Okai, and he's here with us now. So please welcome him to the platform.
You already got me laughing from the surname, sir.
Well done.
Good morning, family.
Good morning. Men on top. Come on now.
Top shelf.
Yeah.
And you had me calling my scent. My scent is almost finished. I do have them, but my favorite is Creed Green Tweed.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Take you out with your lost self. Creed.
Didn't somebody mention Tweed?
No, Creed.
No.
Creed Green Tweed. That's my scent.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, if anybody wore that and they were 11, they'd have to move house. Any of my 11-year-old nephews wore that, they'd have to move out. They really would. Yeah. Creed.
Oh no!
Good morning, family.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. That's a lovely welcome. Thank you.
How you doing? Well, the thing is,
brother.
Welcome, man. I brought you here today because really I wanted to know what was the state of race relations in the UK today. I thought we'd have a good talk about that, considering that only last week there were elections going on.
Mm-hmm.
And what were your thoughts about the results, Steve?
Well, the results were pretty much what I thought it would be. When you're running on zero budget with without the, let's say, the culture of our people voting for us, and I'm not talking about voting for a Labour Party. Start from the beginning. You asked, where are we in terms of race relations? We're worse than when we came here, because too many of us think we've made it. So the fact that we think we've made it, we become individuals, right?
Yes.
Because you have a yard and a kia and a job, and you got £20 in your bank account, you've made it. It's a wrap. And you don't have to associate because it's too black. You wouldn't even have to put a picture on your LinkedIn identity. So when we came here, we know we needed each other. And there's no way that Britain could have told us that Britain wasn't a racist country.
Absolutely.
Now, the reason they do that is because they know what they're bringing next. And because we've failed, by and large, to uphold, promote, and preserve our culture, they've put us in a position where they can do that. We allowed it. We created the whole environment. Every single ethnicity outside of us uphold, promote, and preserve their culture. And then as a byproduct of that, they get the cultural capital. So you can go to the mayor's office and you say, don't talk about Chinese New Year unless there's Chinese people in the room. Don't talk about Diwali unless there's Indians in the room. Don't talk about Eid unless there's Bangladeshis or Pakistanis in the room. Now, when it comes to our events, they can co-opt it. But look,
Carnival, isn't it?
We did it. We allowed everybody to take ownership. And it's on one thing. There's no such thing as black. Black is a political term. And a homosexual white man can self-elect to be black like he can self-elect to be a woman. It's not a problem. And then usurp our money. Don't worry, I see you in the corner, Coach, and you look a little nervous on the language. This is political language. So I'm not going to mess up anybody's show. It's a fact. Anybody can self-elect to be black, apart from a heterosexual white man, and usurp our money. That's why I say African Caribbean, because we can't be scared to be who we are.
Yes.
We eat a particular food, we laugh a particular way, we drink a particular drink. My man wear a particular cologne, and we have to be ourselves and be unashamed to be ourselves. So if we have our own party, it's not for optics, it's to go to local authority. Forget about MPs, forget about the Prime Minister. It's about becoming a local councillor to get local resources and distribute them fairly to the community, especially if it's made up of a larger number of us. Because
isn't that basically what Claude Anderson was also relating to, where he talks about the
110%. I take my entire directive from the uncle, and Adpak is the practical implementation, because I don't want to be Dr. Claude's age and talking about it.
Okay,
I'll
now
be
you just
and everybody else will be talking about that.
Okay, okay, one second. You've just mentioned Adpak, which is an acronym. Yeah, and I'd like you to break down what Adpak really is, because there's a lot of there's people who's going to come and watch this who ain't going to have an idea of what Adpak actually stands for. So let's go with that. Adpak.
So Adpak is the African Diaspora Public Affairs Committee, and is based on a very similar model to the US-Israeli lobby, APAC. So this is the board function and the operations of Adpak. So you have the trustees, and then you have a layer of directors. If you think about directors as MPs, these are the guys who inform policy. So policy for our economics. So at the moment, we are creating a financial entity with guys who are veterans from the banking industry and also in the tech industry with an end-to-end wallet. Education, So we work with all of the rites of passage organizations, and we do have, through K. Johnston, a fully formed educational curriculum for our own children. Employment, which is to protect our public sector staff, such as police and nurses, and work with their associations, but make them more robust. The health department is really about wellness. So one of those buildings that we want in any borough, we say schools, chambers of commerce, community centers, but we want wellness centers. So when you think about people like Dr. Sally, who passed, who was doing what Dr. Sebi did 20 years ago, we want wellness centers so that we keep and maintain our wellness. So we don't need clinics and hospitals. Housing, we have a team who have a history of purchasing land, so acquisitions of land, buildings, the head of a housing association, and revenues and costings from a current local authority to inform our housing and property department. Justice, we're undertaking supporting cases like the Windrush so that we can bring a joint civil litigation, a class action against the government. They're not supposed to be dictating that you get 2.5 grand or 10 grand until you wait here and this is this. No, they destroyed papers illegally, kidnapped people, assets stripped them. Some people died. That is a mass civil litigation. And the previous Home Secretary said it might be worth 200 million to the government war chest. Now, we're hoping it's going to be more than that, but we have the barristers and we have all of the Windrush advocates in place to get behind that. Politics, we support our own political machine. So at the moment, that's the We Matter Party. Trade and industry is about creating ties between us here and on the continent. So supporting organizations like Black Pound Day. We do have now an organization that have created a kite mark for African Caribbean owned businesses. So that Asians or anybody else.
That's BBS, Black Business Recommendations.
Yes, absolutely. So we work hand in hand with them. And what we do with all those mass businesses collectively is aggregate all of our businesses so that when we have our wallet is complete with our currency, we just offer it to those businesses for adoption. And then adoption by the public is exponential. And then the media. So at the moment, I'm working with my brother Robert in HMP TV, and we are creating shows that reflect our ethos so that in the same way that you would see Netflix can inculcate our minds, we want to feed our minds by upholding, promoting, and preserving our culture. So those are the council who create all the policy in those specific areas. And then how it looks practically, if you think about a CVS that work with the charitable sector, what they do is they underpin them. That's what the regional chairs do. So if you think about Croydon, Southwark, Lambeth, Lewisham, Brent, Enfield, if we have regional chapters there, the regional director coordinates all of those organizations in the borough so that they serve our people in the most efficient way. Let's be the Elon Musk of advocacy as an umbrella organization. So you've got a very robust structure. I've been taking people out to dinner from LinkedIn for the past 5 years. And you have very informed professionals that have done this with real world lived experience in the corporate sector, in local authority, who are now going to come and just do that for us. So collectively looking at that umbrella, now we go and get the money. So you'll see the members. The members are the public who are civically minded, who want to attend monthly meetings to be involved in their local community, where we'd signpost everything to kingdom come. So if there are local school governorships, we want to guide our people in there. So then they represent us, and then Adpak as the umbrella represents them. So this is a machine to be duplicated in Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds. Yesterday, believe it or not, I was on the phone to a sister in Ireland who was telling me about Dublin. I don't have my notepad in front of me. So we're big in Dublin, we're big in Cork, and there is one more city. She was telling me about the 32 counties that they've got there. So whenever we identify somebody who's already running civic organizations on the ground, we will align with them and then open a chapter there.
So what you're saying to me is that there's a big black population in Ireland.
Yeah. One of my key spars from North Peckham Estate moved back to where am I going? He moved to Ireland with his family, not because his missus is Irish. Everybody is African Caribbean. He just decided to move his family to Ireland, and apparently it's very peaceful.
Okay. I mean, what I really like that you've done is you're organized.
Yeah,
you've shown that, because a lot of the time, it's like last week we had the elections, and we had one of two choices, really.
Yeah,
Labour, Conservative, Green Party. Then what?
Oh, look what you just did. You just said you had two choices. You said you had Labour, Conservative, Green Party.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. Since we don't need an African Caribbean-led party, what do you think the state of the environment would be if there weren't a Green Party to challenge the government? If there weren't a Green Party to challenge industry?
Exactly.
So what is the biggest issue of the day? Climate change.
Yeah.
Why? Because of the Green Party. So now the same people
they've
who
never
have
won
the
an
Green
election
Party are going to turn around and tell me that we don't need an African Caribbean lead party when the police can kill our men, women, and children in custody.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking about Uncle Sam now. I'm talking about this barren little island blighty that punches way above his weight. Can kill our men, women, and children with no recourse for private prosecution, which is on Adpak's itinerary in our Justice Department.
So let's see that in operation, as you said, right? So with Adpak there as the umbrella, and somebody's brutalized by the police or whatever. You've got this justice arm, that would then be able to take up the case.
Exactly. Now that justice arm isn't Adpak alone. That is coordinating the barristers, where we would hold a hefty retainer. So remember, these cases cost money. Now, when you have a national machine, you can drop 50 grand on a barrister as a retainer. So you have a healthy budget for your case. Now, then we work with all of those organizations who are in the justice sector and all of those advocates. So let's take a case, because after this meeting, I'm having a reparations meeting with advocates from the reparations movement. So let's look at something that created a precedent, what the nation did the other day, that has never been done in this country. Which was hold the police to account using QCs, solicitors, and advocates collectively to represent our human rights.
Come on now.
So the only way that we create parity in this country is by creating our own. So the minute we create our own, we have parity. I'm not reliant on you. We have our own QCs, our own advocates, and we come together behind one case, and then we'll win. Because they beat us based on the fact that we're not organized and we don't have the money. So when we have the money and we're organized, what happens? We can lay out our full case, and when they have contravened the law, they will lose. So that's what happened with the Nation of Islam. So congratulations to Hillary Muhammad.
Well done.
And the Rasta movement and all of those advocates who were involved in winning that case. So to win £1 million plus, and we'll see what that falls into when they actually have to let go of the money. To see a councillor resign.
He resigned straight away.
God bless. Who wants to be on a losing team? I've seen Don King walk away from his own boxer because he said it feels depressing in that corner and walk over to the window.
To the other side,
that's the champion. So it's a different day. So we will align based on our effective demonstration of what has been done. We're not making it up. All we do is duplicate and work on most effective practice, no longer in our little silos, because what we're building out now is a cloud-based project management tool. Now, that cloud-based project management tool is for our communication security. So it lives in its own cloud, and now we coordinate all grassroots organizations. So what we're looking at now is the schools to industry pipeline. I didn't want the community pimps or the distant cousins who are pimps to start making money with the expertise about why our children are going to prison. So I was in the shower, and when I'm in the shower, that's when I convene with the ancestors, and they send me
they send a message to you.
As the ancestors send me a text message, the first thing that comes to me is the name, then the logo. Then I sit down at my desk and I draw it out. Then I get on the blower and I start calling delivery partners. Boom, 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 boom. Rites of passage, psychologists, alternative education provision, student advocacy, educational curriculum, employment and training, child-parent intervention, which is critical, which is the African lens, not the European lens, where they want to extrapolate the child with social services and then separate them from the family. No, ours is to heal the family. Now, if a counselor on the ground sees that they're being sexually or physically abused, then we go down different channels. But in the first instance, we want to heal the family. Then you have youth mentoring and those delivery partners to deliver nationally, all signposted, to be overseen by the local regional chairs. And then you've got the youth psychologists, so that not only are our people getting paid to be within the schools, but they're also culturally competent to deal with our particular issues, which are specific. So we're not Black, we're African Caribbean specific, because we have our own unique history. We have our own unique culture, and it will be taken into account when dealing with us. So Adpak will make sure that all the way through the process, we have culturally competent delivery. And that is the public health approach for and on our family's behalf.
Because that's the way the Jewish community go about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
110%.
And I think what I really appreciate that you've done, Dean, is like a lot of the conversations that I have around this is based around a lot of chat.
Yeah.
It's all talk. Yeah. And it's not that it's empty air, right? I think it's just basically a lack of organization. And I don't think I've come across anybody who's created this kind of a structure that we could actually see and work out how it works, because I'm very much a layperson myself. In all of this, and it looks as though you're looking at it from the clouds, looking down in terms of what's required. And I guess when our parents came to this country, they came with the intention of just being here for 5 years and then leaving.
That's right.
So to say that they were going to put this kind of structure in place, where you've got industry, you've got media, right, and you've got the community, which are the members, paying into something that's looking at our specific needs, because we're very frightened to actually say, you know what, we're Black people and we've got our own needs. And the moment we do that, we're always encouraged, oh, why don't you just assimilate? What's wrong with you lot? Why can't you just be one of us? But yet for when we came to this country, you put us into ghettos. You put us all in.
They put us in the biggest ghettos because they took us from somewhere. You see, what we were as a slave population, as a kidnapped African population.
Enslaved.
Yeah, enslaved.
Thank you, sir. I defer to your wisdom, sir.
Enslaved.
As enslaved Africans.
Wait, can I stop you? Can I stop you for a minute, please? Aston, could you explain why you said enslaved?
Right. Enslaved means that you were put into or taken from and then captured, right?
110%.
Slaved is when you are actually born into that.
Yeah? Okay. I defer to your wisdom. You're pushing on an open door, sir. So what we were offshore. So we're like the little money laundering havens that they have, where they do their dirty business, but it's completely legitimate through their legislation. So they launder money in the Caribbean havens now. That used to be us. So you have offshore and onshore. So in America, right in your face, and that has never changed. That's why
we could talk about Wall Street and why Wall Street is named Wall Street. We could talk about
but I know your time is limited.
Yes, of course.
So I don't want to do that. But what I did want to say is that because they did it offshore and they indoctrinated us to such a degree over so many generations, by the time we came here, we were little English. So the little English would never look at the mother and fear says she's going to abuse the child.
Yeah.
Who would think that their mother would pimp them out on the street, sell them drugs, or do anything else to them, or brutalize them? So this is the mindset we came with. But we've got too much skin in the game now. As the Windrush generation arriving en masse, last year was supposed to be the 70th anniversary, and they celebrated that by kidnapping us and the descendants of the Windrush generation, asset stripping them, and then deporting them. So we're under no illusion anymore. No more black. You created that term. As Aston said, we were enslaved Africans. So now we are just the African diaspora in Britain. It's palatable for us to be called African Caribbeans. It's what we're used to. So that's why I say that as a social term. But we're just Africans in the diaspora. So that's why it's the African Diaspora Public Affairs Committee. And like I said, APAC aligned with Israel. We align with the African Diaspora region that represents us in the African Union. Our role is to make us monetizable to the African Union. Why? Because then we have a value. Strong Africa, strong Africans.
Okay, just stick a pin there. Right. The reason why I say stick a pin there is because based on what you've just now said, hopefully people can understand why people don't mess with the Chinese in England.
Exactly.
Yeah. Why they don't mess with the Jews. Yeah. Why they don't mess with the Asians. Yeah. Because if you mess with a Chinese person, you got in the UK, you got to answer to China.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When they mess with us, they answer to who?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why I know, like you said, I understand that you said that you didn't want to get caught up or whatever. We may not be able to get right to the end, Dean, because this is not going to be the first or the last time that I'd like to think that you're going to visit us. Yeah.
No, King. Anytime you come.
It's just that I think we've got to break it right down because everybody is so busy doing the 9 till 5 and coming home and looking after the children. Yeah. And just putting enough on the, getting them ready and that they don't have time to open up their minds, right, to what is required as Black British people living in the UK. What we need to do as elders, so that when our children and our grandchildren are coming through, we have this framework that's protecting them.
Yeah.
But you said something very important about the 9 to 5. So I closed my shop last August and I have taken 7 months out of my commercial ability. I can go in a room and close a proposition tomorrow. It takes me, I've done it too many times, but I have stayed to set up the CIC, to set up this structure, to be on the phone every day with delivery partners that will be creating tech, the organizations that will be delivering services, and that sacrifice. And I'm not blowing my trumpet on that because it's my choice, but I'm aware that there's very few people that would have the commercial room because life doesn't stop. You don't stop accruing bills. You don't. However, every single day that I put into this, I said, if not you, who? We all become historians, quoting Malcolm X and quoting Garvey, but who actually wants to make a sacrifice to pick up the mantle and do the work? I don't want to hear your hyperbole about Dr. Claude Anderson, Malcolm X, or Marcus Garvey.
Okay.
Dr. Claude Anderson is old, and you didn't do it. You didn't back what he said. Otherwise, it would look like this. So I said, do you know what?
But Dr. Claude Anderson mentioned that from the beginning of the civil rights movement.
He's been saying the same thing for 40 years.
That's right.
That. So I said, look, don't talk about the concept. Build the house. Build the house that it looks like.
Start from somewhere.
Digitally, you can just onboard staff. So you can go on the website right now and fill out an expression of interest to join the political party. You can fill out an expression of interest. So what you've just brought up is the memberships. So we're going live on July 6th with the memberships. And even now, when we're coming down to the monies, we don't trust each other. So I made a decision to be out campaigning for a full year. I didn't ask anybody for any money. I haven't asked anybody to do anything they don't want to do. So when we go live as an organization, individuals is £5 a month, which comes to £60 a year. We might have an option to take £50 upfront, which is for the whole year. For the organizations, is £15. So if you think about a grassroots organization like a rites of passage organization, it's £15 a month. But then they might say, well, we have limited resources. What are you doing for us? The whole point of Adpak is to go and get that 50 grand grant for them so that they can then build out in their capacity building and robustness. We don't want Black Child Agenda or African Child Agenda, I should say now, with Sherilyn Garner, or Taking Positive Steps, Claudine, to advocate for our children as individuals. We want to go and get you 100 grand so that you can now train those counselors to go into the school spaces so that we can capacity build what we're doing and scale what we're doing and do that nationally. Now,
I was going to ask that question. Sorry, Dean.
Please, go ahead.
So I was going to ask, because one of the things is, because that's of real interest, but it's about how is that disseminated and cascaded so that we can build capacity. So you've kind of answered that question, but I think some of the stuff is also about the intimacy in getting people. So like a lot of the trends that are happening now, where we're doing things on a regular basis to create awareness for us as the elders that we've now become, so that we can disseminate to ours. Because if we like you were saying, if you just sit and talk about it, then where's the action? Because the whole thing about the whole thing about action and power is about being proactive around that. So how do we then become catalysts to enable that grand dissemination so that more people can be a part of the process?
But do you know the thing? I couldn't have done this at any other time of my life, because if I was 28, I couldn't pick up the phone to elders in their 60s, 70s for advice. They wouldn't listen to me.
No.
It just happens that I'm right in between. I'm 46. So I can speak to elders, I can speak to my peers, and I can speak to the youth. I'm blessed to be right in the middle, which is that sweet spot where I can now create that close that intergenerational gap. Not by myself, because this is the same conversation I'm having with Gwynton Slowly. It's the same conversation I was having with Nana Ajiman from Access UK. It's the same conversation I would have with Brother Andrew from WYLA. It's the same conversation I'd have with Brother Pablo from Origin HQ. So when you understand that you have the ability to affect closing the intergenerational gap, and it came to me on a project which failed. Our biggest lessons, me, golden boy, everywhere I go, I can call something, it's a win. It's a win. So somebody phones me and they say, I've got a couple of grand for an organization to deliver a meeting. No, it's not a public meeting, it's an industry meeting. So I say, no problem. I call 8, he says, but you've got to deliver it in 2 days and give me the report, the evaluation, because it's tax money, April season. So I call 80 people, I get 80 youth engagement practitioners in one room so that we're talking about most effective practice. So when you see that schools to industry pipeline, all those delivery partners there were in that room. So I just got used to everything I touch, boom, it's effective, gold, gold, gold. And then I came up on a project which we got funding for to deliver in Haringey. And it was a leadership program that I took a lot of time to design, called the Managed Leadership Program, which is leadership for young men from 16 to 25. Now, I had machinations of making them an alumni, so they become their own society of sorts, with all of the civic and entrepreneurial training that we've given them. But for love nor money, could I find these 20 young men in Haringey? Wow. I jumped into the grassroots people of Haringey, who I knew I had relationships with. Now, these are youth organizations. Now, I'm not talking about the young men who would be potentially susceptible to dealing drugs or street violence. I'm talking about young men that don't really come out of their yard. They go to school, college, work, and come home. And I realized there's a huge intergenerational gap. Massive. And I was depressed off the back of that project failing for about 5 weeks. And I said, do you know what? You're not who you think you are. We're not where you think we are. We are nowhere. So if you think about us being in the Matrix, when you take the USB out of your neck back and you realize that you're naked and your body is weak and that the world doesn't look like you thought it looked, let's go. Now we start to build the ships. Now we start to fight the machine. But in order to fight the machine, you must build your own machine. And I realized then, get out of your lazy stupor. This is where we are. We just unplugged from the Matrix. You can't talk about living on zombie protocols, but not have your own effective machine. And although I had been working on Adpak for 6 months previous to having Zooms with delivery partners here and internationally, it didn't look like this machine. And I said, today we start to build the machine. You're going to build the CIC. After you've built the CIC, we're going to build the sovereign trust so that we can work outside of UK legislation as sovereign African Caribbeans. So we can deliver our own educational curriculum and nobody can question it. So we can house our own media and everything else and nobody can question it. The same for our political party that can have affiliation with the African Union and nobody can question it. Just like nobody can question US Jews or Israelis because the machine they've built is too powerful. Now, if UK Ashkenazi Jews are 246,000 here and we are 3 million, power isn't numeric. Power is organizational. So then I start talking to the project managers, effective people like Aston, and to build out what I know we need is a project management tool, a digital project management tool that we can all plug into from our phones and be operational. Well, now let's go. But then somebody's got to pay for it, don't they? So I said, when we pay attention. So let's create a membership. I mean, people can donate today. You could go to adpak.net/donate. But when we are members, it's a frequent income that we know we can now understand what it's going to be next month. So we want to build Adpak into 100,000 membership so that we can say we have a 500,000 budget every month for all of our directors and our people in operations and to oversee our chapters. So if you think about going to your Citizens Advice Bureau, you would go to your Adpak chapter.
Okay.
So any problem that you have where you're going to a CAB and you're saying, oh, they're not dealing with it as I would like. Well, now you're going to a chapter where everybody looks like you and has your best interests at heart. And they coordinate all of the experts on the ground. So when they send you to somebody, they're not sending you to English people. They're sending you to African Caribbean organizations in your area. Very different operation. So that's what London would look like. Very, very different. And then Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, Wolverhampton, and apparently now Ireland in any of those cities like Cork, Dublin, and whatever the other city was.
There's a lot in Dublin, definitely.
Wow.
So I am open to any questions.
I just want to say personally, it's a pleasure to meet you. I have
We've interacted
once or twice
in social media.
That's
but
right.
I like people. I like to drink a glass of rum with people and get to know people.
Definitely. But I've been keeping
Have
my
mine
eye on you.
diluted, please.
Yeah. So I've never voted in for anything in this country.
Yeah.
And last year, as Adpak was becoming more known, it's the first time I've ever expressed an interest in voting. So the organization itself has my backing personally. I now want to put my £5 in that pot. So I'm not in London, sorry. So just help us, for those of us who are not in London, how we can potentially have a chapter or a region.
I do have delivery partners in Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, Wolverhampton, who will become the chairs of those regions and build out teams. So all of that will be very public. And then it's just about capacity building from those who are already in the advocacy space in the cities. So all it is just a magnet that attracts those of a similar ilk and just keeps attracting. And that was what happened with me on LinkedIn with professionals, because I've never been anything other than I am. And now I have the ability to influence the influencers. And I will say to them, you can be black in public. So in the beginning, people wouldn't, 5 years ago, people wouldn't touch me with a barge pole.
Yeah.
Any post that I would put on there, and I didn't treat LinkedIn like Facebook. I treated it professionally, but with the tenets of powernomics. They wouldn't touch it. Then what happens is you become so consistent, and then I'm meeting people personally, and they say, oh, this isn't so bad. And then they start to share it. Then people are messaging me. Well, where people were messaging me, now people will just write on a post. So I've seen the evolution of how you can infect people with an idea. An idea is like a virus. And I believe that we've been infected with malware via our But my thing is an antivirus. My job is to deliver the antivirus. And the more people you infect with the antivirus, because now I have my own advocates who are on LinkedIn. And together we are legion. So now I was the most vocal person. There are people far more vocal than me who saw me. So I understand that my role is not to be charismatic leader. It is to influence the influencers and build the machine so that in a year's time, if and when I step back, you won't even remember me, because Adpak will be here for perpetuity. For our grandchildren's grandchildren, where we don't even remember where we'd have to go to English people. So when the police want a drive to recruit African Caribbean police officers onto the force, they would come to Adpak. Adpak may give them a pre-training, and then they would go into the police force, culturally competent, representative of the communities they police, not communities they contain, which is the current state of affairs. So it's very different.
Yes.
Because we will be engaging with the British institutions, but with parity, not how you saw it, not telling us racism doesn't exist. So first, we're not having that conversation, because now we have all of our eye liaise with those who've created all the reports over the years. I have volumes. So I'm not going into the room as a lay person, and I'm not going into the room by myself. I'm going with my consultants. So now we're having a very honest conversation. So if we were sitting down with a constabulary, forget that. Let's have a very naked and honest conversation about what is. Then let's have an evolutionary conversation about what we desire it to be, which is ethnically representative policing of our communities. But we can't just send our sons and daughters directly to you. There must be some intermediary process where our police officers understand what are the needs of our community. Then it will not be possible for community pimps to be kidnapping our children for county. It will not be possible for community pimps to be grooming our young women and men for sexual exploitation. We want to see an end of these missing children pictures. I'm a father. My 14-year-old son doesn't go anywhere. When I was my son's age, I lived in Kennington. I was going to Camden and getting wet every weekend. I was back drunk at 14. And there was the worst risk, you might have got mugged on your way home, but nobody would kill you to see how the body felt. That's not our culture.
Yeah.
So we are perfectly capable through our media department of creating a cultural shift in our young people. So I know rappers who've formerly been aligned with heavy crime. I have a young brother in New Cross, a rapper, Coleon. I grew up with his older brothers. Coleon is the way he is because he used to come into my brother Jason and Mark's bedrooms and see 10 guys. The house was an open door, drinking beer, smoking weed, listening to Biggie in 95. And he was 7. Coley, get out my room. I feel guilty for who Coley is today. But now Coley is a man who is stepping up. He will be part of our music project to change the culture of our youth's thinking. Won't say what that project is called, but we have a music project to onboard artists that will become a challenge for our young people to spit the same theme of the album, where now we are seeking to shift the culture of young people's thinking. So that again will be a very public project. So when I'm supporting my brother, Gwenton Slowly, New Cross is where I'm born and bred. I am obligated to shift what that looks like.
Yeah, man.
And I've lived all over London. Rudi knows me from Willesden.
Yeah.
When I would take my son to school. Before I took him out and homeschooled him.
Yeah, that's right.
I had to give Mr. Roberts an education.
Yeah. I mean, Christina Robinson is asking once again about membership.
Becoming a member.
Yeah.
You know,
if you go to the website, you'll see membership, but we're not taking any payments until July 6th. Anybody can donate whatever they like at the moment, but membership becomes live in July 6th. And the reason I say that is because we talk. We say we're going to do this, and then you go live and you don't have half the things. We're going to have this in a month. We're going to have that. No, when we go live, everything is operational. The project management tool that I'm talking about to coordinate our organizations, my thing is onboarding. Yes. Can we smoothly onboard everybody? And then when people pay your money, see, at the moment, you don't have any rights, but when you pay £5, you got rights, don't you? So we don't want our complaints box full up that we can't do what we say. So we do things properly.
I have a question, Dean.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you know, you got this organization, or what you're formulating this organization here. Now, do you have to have experience in the highlighted points that you've put up there, right, to actually be part of that organization?
No.
Oh, great. No. Great. Because, like,
people
you know,
can volunteer within they could do admin, they could do a number of different things. But I just ask people to do what they actually do in the world.
Okay.
Somebody could tell me they work in a soup kitchen. I want you to do that here, and we coordinate it. So all of the organizers, think about Adpak. Let's just say Adpak was the reparations march. And we've got 10,000 people behind Adpak, which is the reparations march now.
Yeah.
There's no sense having the march for a day and then the reparations movement do what they do. We signpost 1,000 African Caribbean-led organizations, and we want you to volunteer with the same energy that you marched.
Yes.
So now I want to show you all of those organizations around economics, education and youth engagement, employment. Go and volunteer somewhere with your real life skills.
Yeah.
So that we become a robust community, able to compete with everyone else. Now, we're not a race-based organization. We are African Caribbean specific. That's based on our ethnicity that the creator had the infinite wisdom to bless us with.
Come on.
So we aren't black, white, although we live in a global race-based system. So understanding that, we want to make our ethnicity as competitive commercially as every other ethnicity so that we can get the cultural capital, because we are the cultural leaders of the planet. But if we're not organized, we can't gain the cultural capital from that cultural leadership.
Yeah.
This is what it affords us. So adpak.net, and be curious, get involved. So if you go to the blog section, you'll see a number of articles that are specific to particular industries, politics, entrepreneurialism, and you can sign up. You can sign up there with an expression of interest, and then you'll be involved in the machine.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, anybody can sign up. So although people can't join and spend money, if you go underneath the membership, it says 10K challenge, and you might see this in the States. Now, these are economic drives for us to make money in our own personal households. If you sign up there where it says 10,000, you will be on the list of members. So the minute that we go live, we contact you and you can make that live. But what it does in the meanwhile is when we are going for licenses, such as banking licenses, which one of our delivery partners is doing right now, we have the business case study to say, look, we represent this many people and we want a banking license.
Come on now.
Which is an African Caribbean bank. The entire board. We don't need to go to our distant cousins, not even for one expertise. I found that out on LinkedIn over the course of 5 years. We are at the highest echelons of every single industry.
Exactly.
When I talk about the police, one of my colleagues is a retired policeman. He served in the police for 30 years. This is my brotherhood in Manchester. He is now a qualified criminologist and professor teaching in university. So when I go to the police, I don't go as a lay person. I go with my experts. It's a very different proposition. Now, he is the first one who now publicly makes videos and will tell you that the police is an institutionally racist entity. And he will tell you why. So we're not playing games now.
Yeah.
We're dealing with the people who are at the highest echelons of their industry, but they represent us specifically and exclusively. It's not BAME, it's not Black Asian, it's African Caribbean. And now when we are going for African Caribbean History Month money, you're not going to come and usurp it to say that, oh, we're the gay organization or we're the Hindu organization. Or no, it's African Caribbean. See, when you say Black, you're talking about crime. You know who you're talking about. But when it comes to money, you forget who you're talking about. Please, brother.
Just a moment. You talk about like the African History Month, right? Surely, if it's African History Month, we're supposed to be doing that ourselves. We're supposed to be the ones financing that ourselves, right? Why are we still waiting for Massa to give us a handout and permission to do those things? Why? Why are we doing that?
And herein lies the problem, Aston. We don't have the vehicle that can demonstrate democratic transparency. So the whole point of creating this structure was to onboard the experts. So when the mayor is looking for the X amount, £1 million that drops from central government for Black History Month, no, sir. Adpak take that. And you are now talking to this board of 20 people who will then distribute that amongst the organizations who are culturally competent.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong in us getting that funding because it's there to be taken. So in actual fact, it's about how astute we are in understanding that is there for us to have rather than to give it to someone else who, as you said, who self-certifies themselves as Black. So why would we want them to take that money when that money is there for us to utilize and to disseminate amongst our own? It makes sense.
And it happens. And there is legal precedent for that. So when you saw an English man self-identify as Black and was given the job as the head of, I forget, it works in a theatre. So this was about 2 or 3 years ago. Okay. And he was made the head of that theatre company, which was a Black role. But he self-identifies as Black. And he's an Englishman who looks a little unusual. You would say he's passing. He was able to usurp that money. So
That's
I will
right.
also say that any experts that want to get involved on a board level, so this is a remunerated level, please go to the blogs, scroll down to, you'll see onboarding trustees and directors, and sign up. Sign up. This is a day where we can't say anymore, we don't have. I sacrificed 7 months not making a bean to put this together, and just liaised with delivery partners to inform it. So what you're looking at is 10,000 hours of conversation.
10,000 hours of. I mean, I've been watching you over the past 7 months. To be honest with you, not as a stalker, but someone who's kind of like interested in how we were gonna organize, because I seem to be a voice of advocating for this, but not having the know-how in terms of how it could be done. And that's why I have to praise you and applaud you for what you've done. The other thing that I'd like to do, because we've just broken the hour. Yeah, we've broken the hour. Oh, Aston, never mind. Right, we've just broken the hour. It's just to, I guess, ask you like, what really motivated you? What really motivated you? Because I know that you had your own shop, right, in Camden. Yeah. Right, and you were selling suits at the time, yeah. But we'll do that interview with you on Keep It Real, yeah. But I mean, what really motivated you? You know,
to be honest, when I was 18, Stephen Lawrence from the same area, looked like me. His birthday is actually 7 days after mine.
Oh wow!
You looking at who Stephen Lawrence could have been.
Okay.
And I actually told the story of Stephen Lawrence, and I say I was out and my mum was waiting at the top of the stairs when I came in. But I made a video the other day on Stephen Lawrence Day, and my mum said to me, "No, that's not go on, so. You were out, you dirty blower." And I got up in the morning, and on the news, it said that a young man was killed.
Oh, God.
My mum said her chest was tight and she had to go to work. And until I found her at work, she was fretting. And this is when my mum used to smoke, so the cigarette packet was going down. I saw a notice in the Voice newspaper to join Panther UK because they were going on a march. I was going for the march. When I got in the building, I paid my £5 and I joined the organization. So that was May 7, 1993. May 8, 1993, I went to the Battle of Welling. I got licked in my eye by the police, so it was a baptism of fire. The scar that I wear above my eyebrow today is courtesy of the constabulary. Somebody shouted charge, I was too slow. So my political education started at 18. But at the same time, so I moved out from my mum's at 18 and moved back to New Cross. Now, I went to school in New Cross, and when my parents divorced, we moved to Kennington. But I would take my brother and sister to New Cross, and then I went to Addy and Stanhope in Deptford. So I moved right back into New Cross with my friends, who were all petty criminals. Hence, Coley is our legacy. And I had this life where I'm giving talks in SOAS and Hammersmith and West College and the Brixton Rec. But then I'm selling weed, pirate videos and porn and stolen goods. So there was the dichotomy of those two lifestyles. And I've always been that jack of spades who can rub shoulders with the royalty, but go down the numbers all the way to 2. I understand what it looks like from the ground.
Okay.
Well, what actually gave me the impetus to stop hiding, because I've been through a number of organizations over 27 years, and I just got tired of it. I said, I have radical ideas, and it's hurry up and wait, because I don't run those organizations, and nobody's listening to me. And it seems like ego. So let me just run my business and be quiet. But then in 2016, it became untenable for me to be quiet based on the amount of murders that were happening in the States. And then police, we had a couple of murders of young men who were young fathers. And I said, nah, knowing who you are and what you're capable of, you can't hide. You are now obligated to organize. So we started the Solution Room, and then things like Thursday Club, where we physically brought people out. So we had the Thursday Club in Brixton. You could have 200 people come out of their house and spend £7 to listen to economics, education, bringing all the experts into the room to speak, spirituality, black love. So I know what appetite is in my community. I belong to 140 WhatsApp groups for 5 years and more Facebook groups. So I know where we are, what our myths are, what our capabilities are, the fact that we regurgitate. I know where we're stuck. I became a human algorithm of us. And I said, how do you now put that human algorithm into practice so that it becomes institutional? Because it's not about you talking. You'll be Dr. Claude Anderson age and nothing will happen.
Okay. Now, the thing is that, sorry to cut you, because
go ahead.
Really run out of time now, is
Absolutely.
that I know that you're on the radio. You're on radio. Is that once a week, yeah?
Yeah.
Could you tell us when and where?
Well, I dropped that out for a little bit because I realized I had to build the machine. Right. So I do a broadcast called The Code Show, which is on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter live concurrently. So it's on all three at the same time. See, I want to get people wherever they are. And then I upload it to YouTube as well. So
and what's the name of the YouTube channel that you uploaded to?
Adpak. That's the Adpak YouTube channel.
Okay.
So if you look for if you type in Adpak and Code Show, you'll find it.
Okay. That's good.
So, and we go across every single social media. So then I cut down the clips for young people because they get it how they get it. And I put that on Instagram. So then I'll edit the show down into 5-minute clips for Instagram. So we speak to everybody. And I know the young people because they message me. So we affect every generation, whether you get it on YouTube, whether you're professional and get it on LinkedIn, whether you get it on Twitter and you want to share the message. So then we have the long form, and then we break it down into 5-minute clips for people to share. For me, it's just for people to have the intellectual capital. We want to influence the influencers. And what we're about to do in 5 minutes with my brother Robert from HMP TV, we've got brand new broadcasting cameras. We're shooting a campaign called the We Matter campaign. Now, that's an ongoing campaign. Anybody who attacks our community, we're going to call every single influencer to come down to the studio to shoot high production value 2-minute videos, and then we're going to release them day, date, and hour, attacking one target or promoting one thing. So when we want to promote now the reparations,
the RANTS and BANTS thing,
200 advocates with 2-minute videos calling everybody, because we're not a monolith, we're all different. So now you're just hearing the nuance of someone who's from your tribe, because we all belong to tribes. This person speaks like this, but we understand that we need reparations.
Right.
So let them speak to their tribe. So that brings all tribes together.
Because that was initially
personality out.
That was one of the problems initially when it came to reparations. It was like, how is it going to be distributed? Is it going to be individuals? How much is the individual going to get? But if it's actually going to an organization that is specifically set up for the African Caribbean diaspora, especially if we're in the UK, then now we can see quite clearly where it's going to go. We can understand how.
Adpak isn't looking for that money. What Adpak's role is to do is to work with Esther Costa Soze and all of those who've been on the ground to establish the repertory bank to receive those funds in our own sovereign jurisdiction that the United Kingdom or nowhere else has any say in. So when we understand that we are a sovereign entity Then when it goes into a repertory bank, that's a development bank for and on behalf of exclusively African Caribbeans in Britain. And then we work with those in the Caribbean for their repertory movement. We're in the belly of the beast. It's our job to help our Jamaican, Bajan, Trinidadian brothers and sisters by creating the pressure here so they can release the money to their repertory banks there. We must understand our role. It's not to be singing, dancing, rapping. It's to be effective where we are. And our role is about the lobbying to make the case more robust. So look at this win that the nation have just got. That is our most effective practice. From here on in, that is how we work.
And on that note, I'm going to have to say thank you very much, Dean. Is there anything that any of the guys want to say? Do you guys want to say?
I just want to say thank you for sticking your head out of the parapet.
Thank you for listening and supporting.
And actually a really worthy and forthright start to Rants and Bants. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's many in our community that are unemployed or feel that they've got time to, and they're even looking for work or looking for what we've gone through right now, the lockdown, right? There's many people out there who's going to be running around headless, right? Focus. If this is a vehicle that you can utilize to be part of the next movement, and I see this being part or one of the footsteps of the next movement for our development in this society that we're in, whether it goes global, I can see that it can go global, but we have to see the results first. But it's only what you put in, right?
Absolutely.
I would say if you're interested, go to the site, right, and look into what's on offer, right? Glean what you can from it. Be part of what's going to be happening as well.
Adpak.net. Ashe. Thank you, family.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for joining us, Dean. And we look forward to seeing you soon again, bro. Okay. So okay. And we'll
family.
And you're looking smart, right? You're looking smart. We like that. We like that. We like that. I like that.
Wow. Well, what can I say, people? Thank you very much for joining us here. Rants and Bants. It's our first Friday morning back, and I think we've just now set a premise in terms of the type of discussions we're hoping to be having over the next 8 weeks coming up. All I can say to you guys is we're going to love you, we're going to leave you, we're going to let you go. But just to remind you that tomorrow morning I will be with DJ Countryman for 15 minutes, where we'll be talking to other people who are doing other things in the community. We'll be talking to, let's see, who will I be talking to? I'll be talking to, there we go, One Stop Veg, Fruit and Veg, who are delivering around the UK currently, okay? And that's our food. That's our food. And they're doing it up and down the country. So join us tomorrow morning, okay? That's very important. And once again, team, thank you very much for getting up, man. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. Thank you very much for getting up. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will see you next week, Friday.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
God bless.
Blessed weekend, everyone.
Yeah, man.
It's Friday morning. It's not crunchy time. It's Friday morning Rants and Bants with Rudi Lickwood and the crew, Aston Matsapha Jones,
Julie Juice, Coach Astrid, and Lescha Marshall-Witter.
Early morning conversation with a special guest each week.
Join us.
Bring your tea, your coffee, and let us fill you up.
At 8:15 a.m. to 9:15 a.m.
Friday mornings.
See you there.
Live with me, Rudi Lickwood, and the Rants and the Bants crew.